From the Studio 13 Studios in Splendora, Texas, Hank's Think Tank is brought to you by Quadvest.
Quiet on set. Picture is up. All right, roll sound.
Rolling.
Roll cameras.
Cams rolling.
And 3, 2.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Hank's Think Tank. I've got some good old boys in here today, and one of them's a friend of mine, and we've had him on the show before. I've got John Escotto, which is the mayor of Shenandoah, and I've got Ted Fletcher, and he is one of the city council members. And I don't know what position you're with, Ted.
Position number 2.
Position number 2, and he's also been a council member for about 6 years, and that's a good long time. But I wanted to get these guys in here to talk a little bit about what's going on. Last time we had Mr. Escotto in, he was running for mayor, and he won. And so this is the kind of thing that we want to see as a community. We want to see our civic leaders come in and give us updates as what's going on. It shows that there's transparent government. It shows that things are working, and it shows that our votes counted. So that's the big thing, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get these guys in here, and I'm excited about this show. If you subscribe to the channel, I appreciate it. We've got some good stuff coming up. We're also moving into our new facility in about 30 days. Looking forward to our first musical that we're going to be doing with Mark Hogan and the Reverb Cartel this coming Saturday. Those guys are going to come in. We're going to do a quick show, and then we're going to retire to the new studio where they're going to do an unplugged version of their latest concert. It's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to shooting that. John Escotto, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going, man?
Just fine.
And Ted Fletcher, you doing okay today?
We're doing great.
Fantastic. All right, John, you won. Congratulations.
Thank you.
From what I can see, it was a pretty big victory, too. And I think that says a lot. And the fact that you wanted to come back in here and give us an update's a good deal.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So what you got? What's the biggest thing that I think that you've done since you've taken office?
Well, there are a number of them. As you recall, I ran on, my platform was mobility.
Okay.
Improving mobility.
Big thing
through
in
the
Montgomery
city.
County.
Yeah, through the city and within the city. And one of the projects that I highlighted last time I was here was the attempt to make improvements to David Memorial through Shenandoah and make that connection between Shenandoah and 242 to make traffic flow a little easier, take some of the pressure off of the feeder road going north.
And how long of a stretch is that?
It's probably a mile, maybe less than a mile, a little less than a mile. But it's even though it's a short distance, it just clogs up everything.
Yeah, and anything to take the pressure off that northbound traffic would be great.
So absolutely. So the update is basically that the county, Conroe, the city of Conroe, even the Woodlands Township along in Shenandoah have all combined funds to make those improvements. And as we speak now, we have already almost completed the clearing and grubbing of the path from where it exists now all the way up to 242.
Okay, so it's a new extension.
It's a new extension to David Memorial out to 242.
Okay.
Which is going to help out not only Shenandoah, it'll make it easier to get in and out of Shenandoah, and it's also going to provide another flow of traffic to all those residents who live east of I-45 off of 242.
Right. Not to mention that it'll also create another path for emergency services as well. So that's a good thing because I know they can get stuck out there.
Exactly, and also bus traffic. You know, that when they have events over at the Wood Forest Stadium, it's very difficult for them to bring those school buses in through one way, which is the Tamina Road off of 45, and also bring them back out. Now this is going to provide another avenue for them to transport for these events.
Yeah, that's a great mobility project.
Yeah, and we finally, when I was here before, we were in the process of seeing how we can get this done. But since then, we have
And it's when you
started.
get three entities involved and even more, it can be tough to get all those negotiations and such done and get the funding in place. So kudos. That's a great deal.
And I must add that this project has been in the works for a while, and and Ted will tell you how long we've been trying to get this done, and how much politicking and shaking hands and going to meetings we've had to conduct in order to get this across the line.
Okay, Ted?
Yeah, it's been a long working process. I know when I first was elected and came on council about 6 years ago, we were talking about trying to get David Memorial all the way through, and we were fortunate that we've had a couple of large developments that have come in there with Metro Park, and they've added some hotels, and fortunately we've been able to work with Mark Keogh as well as Matt Gray, our new commissioner has done a great job in helping out and moving the project forward. Of course, even though that's not in Charlie Riley's district, he was able to put forth input as well and really get us over the threshold to get it all the way through. Mayor Chakowski and Conroe stepped up as well and with their MDD and was really able to bring all the funding, all the pieces of the puzzle together right at the end to make it happen.
That's great. Now, was that area where the extension happened, was that all forest, or were there any eminent domain issues, or did y'all have any homes or anything that needed to be relocated or anything?
No homes, no residences. There were a couple of parcels of privately owned property there that would, but they sold.
That's cool.
Sold to the county, and and we were able to go through there. We do traverse the Carter Slough, which is an area that's protected.
Okay.
And so we had to get permits from the federal government to go through there, and we did get them. So that gave us the green flag to move along and to start the project.
That was probably the longest. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there, John.
Okay.
That was probably the longest part of the process, was getting the wetlands permits.
Yeah.
And working with the Corps of Engineers to actually release that part.
Right. Yeah. Government moves at a snail's pace.
Exactly,
They did, and it was such a small section. I mean, it was
Right.
literally maybe a quarter of a mile of the project. So.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, how long do you think this project will take to completion?
Well, we're hoping that we will be done for probably late summer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Late summer,
that's
early
great.
fall.
Yeah. Going to have a big grand opening. And
That's
all that
our
kind of stuff?
expectation. Yeah.
That's gonna
Yes,
be
yes,
great.
we will. We had a shovel to the ground event.
Yeah, a
not
groundbreaking
too long ago.
ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
have the chrome shovel and all that?
They were painted
Gold.
That's
They're
cool.
gold.
Yeah, they're
we
gold.
say they were gold. Yeah,
That's cool.
but we
I may
did
need-
have.
I may need to borrow that. Yes.
and we had representatives from all the entities involved.
Really?
Yeah, take part of that because
Fantastic.
it is a significant event as far as we see it.
Yeah. Now, I know you mentioned Matt Gray. He's on a Precinct 4 commissioner.
Yes.
And, recently elected. I'm impressed with this guy. He's done so much already. And I'm hoping to have him back on the show. He's promised me as soon as he gets a break in the action, he will. But, he's one of those guys that works all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a 9-to-5 guy at all. I mean,
Right.
he's in the office at 6 a.m. He doesn't leave till probably 10. I hope it doesn't affect his personal life, but he is working hard to get things
But it
done.
is a good thing. It's good to see someone as involved in the community with that positive outlook
Yeah.
towards improving the community such as him.
Yeah,
We're looking forward to working with him.
Yeah, and he's a young buck and he's smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had conversations with him already, and we have some mutual projects that we need to discuss with him as well. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with our county leaders. I think that everybody steps in and does what they can to get things done. And even though there's some infighting and some bickering and things like that here, that they still supersede that and move forward to get projects like this done. And these are important projects.
They are important. Yes.
Anytime you talk about mobility and drainage, those are the two things
exactly.
that are at the top of my list.
I agree. I agree.
And so, it's great that you guys were able to muddle through and get this thing done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a wonderful thing. It'll be a nice feather in your cap too, moving forward.
Well, it's more importantly, it's benefiting the community.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
And that's what it's all about. Yeah. I mean, it's not for any personal gain or fame or anything like that. It's just doing something that's going to be positive, that it affects the community in a positive way.
Now, you were on city council before, correct?
I was,
but you've never served as mayor of any city.
No, no.
So this being your first term, was there anything that has come about that you didn't expect? You were like, wow, I didn't expect that. That's something else.
No. I guess what I didn't expect were the slight perks that come along being a mayor.
Really?
It's very hard for me to get used to being called Mr. Mayor.
I
mean?
I can understand
because
that.
I'm not.
That makes sense.
I've never been that person for titles or anything like that. But everything else is. I haven't encountered any hurdles or anything that would make me, have second thoughts about what I've done. No, I enjoy it thoroughly. I look forward to jumping in and getting things done.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you're sitting right here with one of your bosses.
That's right. Fortunately, I've known Ted for quite a while. We're good friends, and we're in the same mindset.
That's good.
We want what's best for the community.
And that's a good thing. Now, how many council members are there? How many positions?
So there's 5 positions.
5 positions? That's a good, healthy sized council. And what size is Shenandoah as far as population goes? Any idea? Because I know y'all are probably growing also.
We are, and based on the last census, we're around 3,500.
Really?
We've had some new developments that have come in that's increased that number, and so we're heading in that direction to, eventually here, probably within the next 2 to 3 years, be at a place that will be at a home rule city.
Wow. And you have your own police force and all that already, right?
We do.
We do.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And how large is that police force?
We're at I think my last conversation with the chief, we were at 27. I believe.
Right. Well, that's healthy also.
Yeah.
Plus, we've added a couple of canines also. So now we're in response to transient crime. We as you know, we're right smack on top of I-45, so we get a lot of traffic from both north and south. And unfortunately, with that flow of traffic, we get the crime that's attached to that also.
Yeah, it's kind of a pass-through community.
It is, and all of our retail outlets are right there on 45, so they figure that they can come in, hit, and jump on 45 and leave. But fortunately, we have a very, very professional police department. They're on top of it. If residents can rest comfortably knowing that law enforcement is being done in the city of Shenandoah.
Okay.
And we used to be known as the city that you don't speed through because we give you the ticket, and kind of backed off of that a little bit, and now under our new leadership, we're becoming the city known that's tough on crime.
Okay.
And there's a big difference between those two.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a reputation building type
absolutely.
thing.
It is, yeah.
You're still probably going to get pulled over. You just may not get the speeding ticket.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's fantastic. I mean, long as you've got, because it's hard to control what's going on now. We have so many people that have moved out in this area, and like I said, 45 is. There's so much traffic there, and you're a pass-through community, so you're going to have people pulling off to get gas, people pulling off to eat, things like that. So, it's hard to control. You never know what's going on.
It has a positive aspects and the negatives as well,
right.
But we're fortunate that we have our hands on the volume of crime that's being conducted. Most of the arrests that are made, especially felony arrests that are made in our community, are transient people
Right.
who decide that they want to go into a Home Depot and steal a drill or something, and they get caught. Well, it turns out that when they run their name on the computer, they've got 2 outstanding felony warrants from Harris County or from wherever else. So that becomes a felony arrest, although the theft may not have met that threshold to be a felony, but the warrants did. You know? So we're cleaning up those undesirable visitors that plague our establishments.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's move a little forward. I'd like to talk about taxes because that's the big thing with everybody, and I know that you guys have worked kind of hard to institute some tax reductions. So let's talk about that a little bit. What have you got in the way of tax reductions, and have they been implemented, or is something that's moving forward?
Yes, we have. To answer the question, have they been implemented? Last tax action that we took, we reduced our property tax to 0.1477. So that's a reduction that benefits all of our property owners in both commercial and private homes in our town.
And so, what did you come down from it?
It was 0.1799, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a healthy.
That's a pretty nice reduction. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's again, as I mentioned before, when I was here before, that our 72% of our revenue comes from retail sales. So we're fortunate that we have that because that benefits our residents significantly because of the tax.
So your sales tax revenue is up, so you were able to reduce your property taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
And you kind of balanced out and ended up with the same amount of
there was a glitch of a couple of years ago when we had to we couldn't reduce the taxes because there was the uncertainty of COVID-19.
Oh yeah.
We didn't know how businesses were going to be impacted by all the restrictions that came along with that COVID-19
Yeah, and that
issue.
was yesterday.
Yeah,
that wasn't that long ago.
Right,
so
I
the
know.
fact that you're able to pull out and already begin your reduction.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we because of that uncertainty, we kept the level the way it was, and as soon as we could change it, we did.
Okay.
So
and not only did we reduce the tax rate, but we also increased the services available to our residents. We increased the police department from what it was. We're right in the middle of going through our 5-year plan in redoing water pipes and water mains. We've added to our public works department. We're not a big government thinking type of entity, so we keep our costs low. Every year that we get together, we start with 0 line items, and department heads come in our budget workshop and they talk to us about why this project's important, or why they need to add this person, or why they need this equipment. And so
so zero-based budget. That's
zero-based
great.
budget every year.
Awesome.
Is how we start. And then we usually end up at the end of the year with a surplus. So staff and our mayor do a good job in making sure that we keep to that budget and keep to those costs. And anything that comes up that's an emergency or wasn't budgeted to begin with because it was an unknown, such as a water main's going to burst, and that wasn't one that we had planned to repair this year or replace this year, comes right to the council floor, gets disclosed to everybody ahead of time, and then the work gets done.
Okay. So how old is your water infrastructure?
Gosh, it's older than that, 40 some years.
Wow.
In some parts, yeah. We still have some of the old asbestos pipe.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is suffering from breakage and things like that.
Correct.
But we are, and I think we're in the last legs of getting those pipes replaced. But that has been an ongoing project, obviously for obvious reasons. So it is something that we're on top of.
Okay.
Now, In the residential area, the main residential area that we call, it's commonly referred as the valley.
Okay, I like it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. Okay.
Those drainage pipes and anything that had to be done infrastructure-wise was done when the streets were expanded and the ditches were filled in, which was about 12
years, 10, 12 years ago.
10, 12 years ago.
That's time to do it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's especially the drainage. I mean, our drainage has improved tremendously.
Okay.
So that was done. And we're all, with machinery, they tend to break down. They have a lifespan. So we're constantly maintaining things that break down. And so we are, and all of that is, we look forward to those expenses. That's why we have that, our capital improvement plans.
Okay.
So we know which project we need to address in prioritize
Right.
them. And we do pretty well. As Ted mentioned that about the surpluses, I'd say the last 4 or 5 years, we've had a surplus.
That's good.
Which is
not easy for a city.
It's not easy for a city, and it says a lot about our directors of the public works and budgeting and all of that. They're keeping an eye on expenditures, and they project this, and they always come below it.
That's cool.
We don't have a department short of our police department, which, as you know, we try to keep. With updated with their
and they'll
proper
try their
equipment.
best to get as much funding as they possibly can,
and they deserve it.
They do.
I tell you,
yeah,
they need for for their own safety and for the safety of our residents. But this past fiscal year, we came in with a surplus.
That's
in revenues.
awesome.
So it's great, and I can't talk enough about our staff at City Hall.
Okay.
They do a tremendous job, and I'm sure
They do. Yeah.
Ted will agree. I mean, we have a great staff.
That's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about water a little bit, if you guys don't mind. I'm just curious. Are y'all one of the SJRA customers for surface water? Do y'all get surface water? No, so everything's groundwater. You have your own municipal water district and such?
We do.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Wow. So what about the GRP? Are y'all part of the GRP as well? No, you opted out of that GRP, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So how'd y'all get away with that?
That was pre-planned. That was way before my time.
That's awesome. Yeah. So are there any issues with groundwater, with subsidence or anything that you've been able to tell in Shenandoah at all, or is it just your surrounding communities that are experiencing a lot of that? Or
I think it mostly surrounded. We haven't had anything that's critical as far as our water supply is concerned.
okay, that's great.
In fact, because of the drought, that we had
Right.
last year, we I think we went over our water consumption limit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that
Everybody did. Yeah.
couldn't control. All the communities have suffered through that.
Yeah, everybody
But
did, for sure.
But no, we haven't had any. We had a recent issue, but that was a mechanical issue where some brown water came up, but that was a filtration backflow issue that was remedied within hours of it happening. But as far as issues, we don't have.
And it was only limited to a few homes as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a thing that we had to,
Yeah, I think
announce the boil
geographically
water and all
y'all are
that
in a
stuff.
cool position because you don't have to get surface water from SJRA, do you?
We
No.
do not.
It's not in the future plans or anything.
No.
That's
No,
great.
no,
Not at all.
no. We
And
don't.
you're pretty much landlocked, so growth, as far as property wise, isn't really all that expected. I guess how many acres did you say you had left?
I think we have about 10 acres still left that we can develop at this
Wow,
point.
that's not a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not.
I mean that would just be a small subdivision there.
yeah.
Correct.
So, and what about your ETJ? Do you have anything you can annex in the future without giving up any plans? I mean, I know you guys probably don't want to do that, but
We don't have any plans in the future for annexing anything.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
right, with the the designation of our city being a general rural city, our ETJ would have to apply to get annexed,
Right.
Voluntarily. We just can't go out there and grab.
Right.
And we wouldn't do that anyway because we don't have any plans for doing that.
Okay.
Not in the near future.
We really have two areas in our ETJ. One that is right next to the woodlands. There over by Hughes Landing, just north of Hughes Landing.
Okay.
And then the other section of our ETJ would be down Tamina Road in the Tamina corridor, which, of course, with Tamina, that'll always be preserved as a historic landmark for their residents. So we have no intentions of being able to go into Tamina and try to do anything there.
Okay. Fantastic.
Which is I'm glad Ted brought that up about Tamina because that's another project that I wanted to discuss also is that because of federal funding through the ARPA program, which is the American Reconstruction Project.
Yeah, it's
Act,
part of the
ARPA.
whole COVID thing, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Through the county, through Montgomery County, we were able to get funding to provide water and sewage to the community of Tamina, which is their own community outside of the city limits of Shenandoah,
Okay.
but still in our ETJ. They have asked us, the county has asked us if we would take on the project, the city handle the money
It's awesome.
and get the infrastructure built by providing our water and our sewage treatment to the community of Tamina.
How large of a community is that?
About 283 homes will actually be
Really?
Yeah.
will be outfitted. And this isn't just
that's
taking water and
significant,
sewage just to the street. This is connection.
Okay.
So it's metered to the street, connection to the home. So literally, there's no cost to the people that live in Tamina to actually hook up to the sewer system and the
Wow.
water system.
Well, that'll be great.
Yeah,
They'll
no
be able
hookup
to-
fees, nothing. Everything is being taken care of through the ARPA funds.
You hear that, Splendora? I don't know what happened here. Okay.
Well, part of it is, one, we had the capacity to be able to accommodate the project.
Okay.
And we had just gone through with our water, public works, in expanding that capacity and looking, again, comes back to our 5-year CIP and planning ahead, which, to be honest, prior to this administration, there was no 5-year plan or 10-year plan. It was pretty much, if this came up, we're going to do it. If that came up, we have to take care of it. But through the leadership over the last several years, that's all changed to where there's actual plans in play. So one of the plans that we put in play was for our water department, or for our public works and water, to be able to see that, hey, we only have these 10 acres left. We were at capacity. We couldn't really bring anything new into to the city.
Okay.
And so we had to expand that capacity to be able to accommodate that future growth and development. And fortunately, through that expansion, the opportunity arose to where we would also have the capacity at that point to be able to help Tamina because they just actually lost their water contract.
Oh, they did.
So they were going to be without water.
Who were they with? Do you know?
They were with Chateau Woods.
Okay.
Was providing water for them. I'm not sure the mud that's over there, but it was the same mud that supplies water to Chateau Woods.
Okay.
And so they had lost that agreement. And so, and then the other part is, everybody that's in Tamina is on a septic tank. So they have to, so now they'll be able to have water and sewer.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So we won't have any more worries if, for them to be able to have the resources that they need to live the lives that they want to live in Tamina and
Sure.
really kind of be independent, because that ultimately that's what they want. They want Tamina to be Tamina, and rightfully so.
And that's
Yeah.
what we want for them. We're willing to do that using those ARPA funds, and they, in essence, will become our customers as far as
It's fantastic.
the provision
That's
of water and sewage treatment.
being great
you know.
neighbors, and
Yeah,
it's smart government.
exactly,
That's what
exactly.
government's supposed to be for.
Yeah.
To help the community and help your neighbors out.
And there has been that reluctance in the past to on the Tamina community part, because they don't want to lose their identity as the third. I think it's the third community from the Civil War.
Free slave
Free slave community from Civil
Really?
War. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow, okay.
there's a history there in Tamina.
I'm going to have to check that out. I'm
yeah.
really unfamiliar with Tamina. So,
Yeah, there is a history there. So they want to maintain their identity, of course, and we respect that, and we want to help them maintain their identity. And in fact, we've had conversations with prominent residents who are representing their community that I personally offered to help in any way to get them some sort of designation from the federal government or the state government or whoever provides that type of designation as a historic status.
That's great.
Because we want them to maintain that identity.
Yeah.
And in no way would we want to get involved in any type of annexation in the future. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm mayor, that's not going to happen. And I'm sure that, and I'm not saying that that's not going to happen 10, 15 years from now. But,
yeah, none of us know what's going to happen in 10, 20 years. So,
but I'm sure that, if the sensible person would agree with that, with that position, that, that this is their heritage.
that does make sense. I didn't know there was that much history there. That's great.
Yeah, there is. So that's the project that's very important to us, and we carry that across the finish line there with the county.
And is there, how many years projection is there on that? Maybe a year or two, or?
Well, this project has got to be completed by 26.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because those are the parameters set forth through the ARPA funding agreement. We hopefully expect to get this done, before that. The sooner the better. The sooner we provide these much needed services to the community, the better.
I bet y'all are the guys that can do it. So it sounds like you're the A team, able to come in and pull stuff off. So
we're trying. We're trying, and again, our position. I know Ted agrees with me. Is whatever it takes to make our community better, more comfortable, safe. We'll do that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So, what about drainage in Shenandoah? Do y'all have any drainage issues? Because I know that a lot of places in Montgomery County, this one in particular around Splendora, we're low and we tend to flood. So do y'all have any?
Well, we actually have a project right now that we're doing off of Vision Park. So we have a Vision Park drainage area, retention area. We're actually in the processes of making that more of a water feature and park.
Nice.
With a walk around, and then eventually we'll add a memorial for our veterans there as well. But we're digging that down deeper to be able to accommodate more capacity for drainage. That's on the west side of the freeway. So on the east side of the freeway, as you know, 45 pretty much divides our city in half.
Right.
And so anybody that's driven on the east side of the 45 feeder heading north knows that there's drainage issues there every time that it rains. And so by being able to do this project, not only are we going to be able to have more capacity on the east or on the west side, but also on the east side, we have projects that are in the works as well that'll eventually take all that water off the 45 feeder.
Cool.
And push it down through the Carter Slough and on out to the river. So, which is
the natural flow for drainage in that direction towards towards the San Jacinto, through the Carter Slough. So it's a project that was developed years ago and became part of our capital improvement plan, and those are one of the things that we're constantly trying to improve to make services better. The drainage is a lot better now. But now, going back to what I mentioned before about the improvements in the valley. Before there was ditches. All the streets had ditches along the side. So that again, that was an issue. When we had
ditches kind of work.
Yeah, they kind of work. And if you hit, like we've been hit with a lot of rain in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and our weather cycle is actually, I believe, changing.
Changing, exactly. So that helps a lot. So the drainage through our residential community is fine. We have not had any problems with any flooding or anything like that. And there's been an occasional elevation problem in a house or two in a subdivision. It happens, but we address that and we rectify it. But that's a common thing. That's what cities do.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for being mindful civic leaders. I mean, not always do you find people who are actually mindful and they have the future in mind, and they care about their community and care about their citizens. What I like hearing is that not only do you care about Shenandoah, but you care about the surrounding communities as well. And you're willing to work with those surrounding communities to get things done that are good for all the citizens here.
Absolutely.
We don't hear enough of that, and you guys are a fine example of how it's supposed to be done.
Well, thank you.
I just want to thank you both for coming in.
Appreciate
today.
that. Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it.
Any closing statements before we get on out of here?
No, Ted? You want to?
Well, we're running back into that time that it's election season and
coming up fast.
Yeah. So I have decided to run again for another term. Okay. And I did pick up an opponent this time around. I say this time around. I think I've picked up an opponent every time around.
That's good. That means you're doing something, because if you weren't doing anything, no one would care and no one would run against you. So that's important. The other thing is it is kind of a form of term limitation in a way, because now you're counting on the voter to vote you back in. And if you weren't worth your salt, they wouldn't do it.
Absolutely.
And so I guarantee I'm going to see you back in that seat again. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. I think so. We're going to continue to do the right things and move forward. That's for sure.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, Hank.
Thank you, Hank.
Well, there you have it, guys. When we have leaders that are willing to come in and tell us what's going on and face the music, because I can ask some tough questions sometimes, it's impressive. And so I want to say one more time how important your vote is. And we're going to be doing some stuff this election season that's going to be out of the norm. I'm going to be doing some voter education stuff and some other things that are near that. But this is one of those fine examples of how your vote matters, and you need to be an educated voter. Don't vote for a name. Don't vote for a slogan. Don't vote for a party. Vote for the man, and vote for the man because his ideas and his methodologies are in line with what you believe in. If you do that, we'll make it as a country, and we'll move forward as a country, and no one in the world will be able to ever defeat us. I'm Hank Vatt. This is Hank's Think Tank, and we'll see you in the next one.